somebody comes up to us and says, "What do you do for a living?" It takes some explaining.
I make models. I show students how to make models, and the conversation just goes on and on from that. And it's, wow, how'd you get that? It must be the best job in the world, everybody says. Yeah, it is a really good job.
Well, all the students say that as well, don't they? All the students want to work here.
Coming from Scandinavia and then coming to, Manchester, where everything is red brick. It was it was a big contrast. And then you come to Manchester School of Architecture and I was like, what is sort of okay to do? Like, what materials are we expected to use?
You can definitely make it look like
no, it doesn't necessarily have to be concrete. It just needs to be
just a solid film.
Translucent, yeah.
Conventional workshops tend to offer one service here, one service here, one service here, and they very rarely have so many services in the one room.
They are groups of 2 or 3 students, and they all have one building. And one of the tasks they have to do is to do a model that is not a representative model, but more of a kind of conceptual or interpretative model. So you had one question about, or it's just
if we can go ahead and make the model.
Yeah, I think you can. I think to me it seems like probably is the best idea to do the model first, and then if there is time.
It's the best given the time constraints.
So, for example, a lot of the discussion we have now with the students and with Jim and Scott is, am I doing my model with this material rather than this material? So I'm always trying to bring them back to what is it that I'm trying to achieve, or what is it that I'm trying to show with that model, and hence I'm using that or that technique or material.
This will get done first and then that will just stick on. I think it's probably more important to do the columns first, then do the roof, so you know how much more the roof sticks out.
But what I'm thinking is maybe if we could set a light in the back or something, so, it would be quite bright and the whole image would illuminate.
It's like if you were designing the real building, you have to think, where does this pipe work go?
Yeah.
Where does this electricity flow? Where are all the wires? And so you have to kind of design the model almost like a real building and think, where does this stuff go? Manchester School of Architecture is a school that is split over 2 institutions. It's got the University of Manchester on one side, the Manchester Metropolitan University on the other. We are based at the University of Manchester. The separation between the 2 primary sites, so I'm going to go here to the lecture theatre for this lecture. I'm going to go here to make the models. And it's like having that separation is quite important. This workshop is perceived as more of a studio space than it is as a service. People are more willing to come and experiment in this place and allow themselves to grow, allow the work they're doing to develop.
I try to push the boundaries. So this year I'm going to use different materials, different techniques, resins and casting and using pewters.
Yeah, okay. What have you used before?
Not at all.
Nothing, really? Yeah, so you're kind of exploring that?
Yes, it's a very, very kind of last push.
This is my building.
I finished 1 to 200,000. The small model I told. Yes, it's the whole city. So it's very small model, but I feel it's really effective. Then I moved to a bigger scale, moving into the site and surrounding.
Yeah.
And the next stage is to zoom in again into my building.
I've got these railway arches. It's all about this kind of intersection between these infrastructures. I want to make that the center.
Is it like a viaduct or is it? Okay.
So I haven't made it yet, but I'm working on this model now that hopefully that will kind of really come across as the main kind of epicenter of this site where they meet and they intersect. And then on top of that will be my building all around it. I've done a really rough model of the site, 1:500. Just to kind of get a grip about what's there and how it works. And then now I'm going slightly smaller scale to show more context. So hopefully I can use these two models to really explore my design.
In terms of their actual contact time, we probably spend more time with those individuals than the tutors do. You get to know people's strengths a lot more, and I think as a result we're able to determine whether they're going to be able to achieve the things they're setting out to achieve or not.
That's what we have to come with, isn't it? Like the kind of ideas. And then Jim and Scott's helped us to kind of translate that into something beautiful. And
Yes, yeah, but even for concept, you use cardboards or grey boards and put it together. It's not perfect,
no,
but it shows your concept.
Because your ideas are never perfect in the beginning.
I explore my mind when I'm working like this. With the origami that I've done for like over 8 years now, over time your mind can wander to like think about how your day's been, or because it helps like the creativity come as well. I think this was really a stepping stone into start model making, because this was the first model that I did in the workshop. We've been told that you can't just choose something because it looks nice. You have to be quite analytical. Like, what can this give to make my project a new sense of direction? It really opens your eyes, because I've only really worked on paper. I'm really interested in just going all out while I'm here, try out all these different materials like resin, jesmonite, different types of wood to see how they can give different effects.
Which is why I'm not thinking I should use a plastic, because it's quite bad for the environment when you're making it.
Okay, so you're thinking about more organic type materials and it's about you thinking about how you actually put the object together as well. Tolerances, that's the exploration, I think, and the educational part that's the crucial bit that we try to engage in daily.
It's a museum, so I wanted north light. That's why I had a slate roof on the north side of the building. It's in a warehouse district of Manchester, our site. I had some that fed into the typology of the warehouse, and then I had some more contemporary forms like these. And then after a discussion with my tutor, he thought it shouldn't blend in too much with the context, and so we went for a more standout shape. Because in first year I was a very digital person, and I was like, when the tutor said, well, do this by hand and doing it on the computer isn't the same thing, I would be like, yeah, well, But we grew up with computers and this is like how we learn best and stuff. But I think model making is something that is completely different from computer models. Even though it's essentially the same object, you get a whole different relationship to your building by holding it in your hands and like feeling it.
The model should be an extension of the design on paper. You know, it's the proof that the design works. Because until it gets off the page or off the screen, you're just surmising.
One of the research projects that I'm involved with currently, it's with the textiles department here at Manchester. So we're looking at how you can take the geometries and characteristics of knitted or woven or textile fabrics and try and explore those for architectural effect. After modelling digitally, we'll create some physical models that we'll be able to test and explore. Often we'll be exploring the different techniques within the model shop and the specific advantages that those techniques offer us.
Same material.
Exactly the same. That one's
Within that collaboration with the textiles department, their expertise in understanding the specific qualities of textiles and fabrics. That's something that we then benefit from, and we equally bring to the table our knowledge of design techniques. With all of those things together, we can find an application at the architectural scale.
Because knitting's a constructed textile, I've always been interested in its physical and performative properties as opposed to just surface decoration. So we moved through a few iterations from just embossed concrete to covering columns with knitting, to actually removing the core and having the knitting sort of be a structural thing rather than a patterning thing. But the beauty of it is you can also have the patterning as well.
So we did a couple of different versions, which that's your ABS one. That's about an hour and a half out of the bath. So it's there's still like remnants of some of the support material on it, but
so this was the one with the scaffold that was all around it, to support it.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't think it would have this slight spring to it. But given that it is just made up of sort of threads, literally threads of this material, it gives it a flex which you don't normally expect from these kind of plastic prints.
You make a model, you use it to test and understand and fabricate. From that experience, knowledge and learning, you feed that back into the design. Sometimes the model making is seen as the last thing to do in the presentation piece, rather than being central to the design process.
So it's a bit of a frenzy at the moment because it's the final build-up to the degree show. So a lot of people are finishing up their models and they've got to transport them across to the art school.
It isn't just about the finished object, far from it. It's about the different journeys that it takes you on. This is always an experience that people talk about enjoying. They enjoy coming to the workshop, they really enjoy that time. It's the free space where people can come and experiment and try different things.